Good morning, you guys, and happy Monday, and welcome to my attempt at a 2025 reset. Yesterday, I was fully intending to deep clean the house and take down all the Christmas decor and redecorate and have fun with it, and things went sideways really fast. We woke up and one of the dogs had peed all over the big chair that we have in the living room. And I kind of let that just derail my day. We had been talking about getting rid of the chair for a while. It was a little bit too big for both of the places that we tried to put it. So the dogs decided for us that the chair had to go. We did end up taking down the Christmas decor, but then I went on a hyper fixated manhunt to find a new chair. We tried to thrift most of the furniture in our house, and the space was feeling so incredibly empty without the massive chair, and I just couldn't get past it. So I ran around to every thrift store in town, and thank goodness I found a chair, because I don't know if I would have stopped until I had found one. So long story short, the day got away from me and I didn't end up filming anything. The house is kind of halfway reset. I mostly just did the laundry and our regular reset and took down all the Christmas stuff. So I'm really going to try and focus this week on just doing a little bit every day to set myself up for a good new year. We are going to be celebrating the new year tomorrow. Today is Monday the 30th. So tomorrow's New Year's Eve. Josh and I are both working all week, so we're not doing anything crazy, but we were talking about hitting up Chili's, so it might get kind of wild. I'm just settling in for some meetings this morning. I have a lot of meetings on Monday morning, so I've just got my heating pad in my chair. I haven't taken a rest day for my workouts in a while, so that seems like what today is calling for. But I just wanted to check in, say hi, hello, and good morning before I get too engrossed in my workday. I don't know why it tastes like this, but I have just been cranking away today. I just could not sit anymore, but I'm trying not to take too long of a break because I'm in a really good focus zone right now and I don't want to break it. I've got a client meeting at 4. It's 2:45 now, so I just set up my walking pad to get some steps in. I'm just going to work on some strategy and some calendar planning for a little bit. Thought maybe getting my body moving too would help kind of get the ideas flowing, because thinking big picture 12-month calendar is a little hard for me. I tend to be more of an in the moment inspired kind of person. So I try to do about a mile or so a day since I got this, and I've been pretty consistent with it and I've been enjoying it a lot. So if you've been on the fence about getting a walking pad, this is your sign to just do it. I wanted to wait and show you guys the new chair until the light was a little bit better, but this is how everything is looking now. The Christmas tree is down. The chair is so cute. It's in really, really good shape, and I only paid $19 for this, so I'm gonna call that a win. I stayed up way too late, getting my life together and getting some more work done last night. And I'm getting ready today to go on a work trip over to the Teton area. I'm really excited. If you're newer to my channel, I'm headed to the property that I actually used to manage. I run the marketing department for that company now remotely from the house, but it's always good to get back to the old stopping ground. So I've just been doing a little bit of content planning, and I've never been too much of a New Year's resolution kind of person, but I have been this season kind of feeling the urge to do a big reset for the year, which is very unlike me. So I decided to make up a new vision board and update my Notion. I've been using Notion for 2 years now, and I haven't really rebuilt anything since the very first time I started using it. If you aren't familiar with Notion, it's a little bit techy when you're first putting everything together. Excuse my dishwasher if you can hear that in the background, but I've been on a really good kick with my chores and keeping the house really clean. So I made a smoothie this morning and the dishwasher was full, so we had to run her. Anyways, like I was saying, if you're not familiar with Notion, it's a little bit techier of a build to get everything set up initially, but I really like it a lot because it's kind of like a digital bullet journal. It's very visual, very customizable, and as someone with pretty severe ADHD, I like having tools and planners that can really function with how I'm functioning at the moment. So when I first built this out, I built it out really simply. I built out like a weekly planner page, a habit tracker page, a journal page, and a content planner page. And over the course of using the tool, I feel like I slowly fell off page by page. So at first I abandoned the journal. Frankly, I've never been much of a journaler as much as I would like to be. I prefer other forms of like meditative self-reflection, typically movement. So that was the first to go, and then I slowly stopped using the habit tracker as well. I think I was just trying to track way too many habits just for the sake of like checking the boxes off. And then on days that I like wasn't, doing my best, I got like 0 out of 8 check marks, and that was always really discouraging. So come present time, all I was really using was the checklist, and it's basically just like a to-do list Monday through Friday. I also think that having everything separated into different pages probably wasn't the most intuitive design. I really like having everything all in one place. So I kind of went down a rabbit hole last night and built myself a 2025 dashboard. I also ended up throwing together a vision board in Canva, and I'm really excited to approach this year with a little bit more structure. In the past, we had been living kind of a nomadic and very unstructured lifestyle, so building in structure was actually more of a headache than anything else because it was just impossible to keep. So I think it's going to be really fun to approach 2025 a little bit differently and focus in on some of my bigger goals that I'd like to accomplish in the year. If you're into like really fancy Notion templates and stuff, this is definitely nothing crazy. I built this out myself and I did it very simply. By the time I was like wrapping it up, I was almost kind of searching for other things to put on the page, and I couldn't really think of anything, so I just kept it to the basic stuff that I know I'm going to use a lot. Like I said, the Monday through Friday to-do list, like checklist, is what I use most in Notion, so I made sure to put that like right up at the top, and right next to it I put my vision board. I feel like it's really impactful to have that be something that I see multiple times a day, and I'm in and out of my Notion pretty frequently. I thought putting my to-do list right next to my vision board would help keep me motivated and aligned with, why I'm doing the things on my to-do list, and just be in a place that I'm seeing it really often to keep me focused. I saw one of my favorite creators, Carter, have ChatGPT help her come up with like a mantra for the year based on her goals. I frankly haven't really built out goals for the entire year. I've actually been struggling with that a little bit recently, like what would I change and what do I want to work towards in the next year. We accomplished a lot of our big life goals in 2024, one of which was buying the house and like picking where we want to live and settling down. And I really love the job that I'm in, the house that we're in, everything just feels pretty good right now. So I've been having a hard time kind of identifying like what my next steps are. And I think I'm allowing myself to just be content and be okay with that for right now. So I didn't really do goals for the year, but I did do a mantra for the month because I thought the idea was fun. Doing it month by month just seems a little bit less overbearing to me. I have a hard time like looking at things from such a broad scope. So my mantra for January is progress, not perfection. Every step forward is a step towards your dream. I also often tend to be a little bit on the impatient side when working towards goals and can get really frustrated if I'm not seeing results really quickly. So I thought this was a nice reminder as I work towards like bigger milestones in life. I also updated the banner at the top of my Notion. I am a very visual person. I got into human design a couple of years ago as I was listening to a lot of podcasts and stuff. My human design said that I'm a very aesthetically driven person, which really resonated with me. I take it very personally, my environment, and it's really important to me, especially with my living space, to have it a particular way or I just get really unsettled. And I also go on these like rampages when something starts to feel off decor wise and I just like cannot function until I fix it. So it makes sense to me that I would be this way with just everything in general, and if anything isn't aesthetically pleasing to me, I find it harder to approach, especially my work. So making my planner really cute and fun to log into every day is helping me a lot to actually utilize the tool. And then the bottom half of the page, I did a little bit of a habit tracker. Like I said before, I stopped using it because I think I was trying to track too many habits, and a lot of them were things that frankly I was already doing habitually. I just get a lot of satisfaction from checking off the box. So this habit tracker, instead of it being on a whole separate page and the entire month, I just did it week by week, and I'm only tracking 4 things that I'm really focusing on right now. So I chose to focus on reading every day, walking every day, getting a workout in every day, and skincare. Throughout the winter, I tend to be a little bit more sedentary, working a lot of digital jobs, so getting a walk in really helps me mental health wise throughout the winter, and it's really good for me and the dogs. So putting that on here just gives me that extra little bit of accountability, and if I do the walk, I get to check the box. I think I mentioned this earlier in this video or potentially last week's video, but I struggle with my skin a lot more during the winter, so focusing on my skincare is really important. And one of my major personal goals for this season of life is to stay consistent with my wellness routine and see what kind of changes I can make in my health and well-being in the next year. So having a workout on there, while I realize it's a little insane to work out every day, I don't do that. I promise I take rest days. Just having it on there keeps me accountable to go more days than not. I shoot for about 5 days a week. And then I just have a calendar next to that. I don't really utilize this calendar too much. All of my work stuff is in a Google Calendar. My January is looking a little dry, but throughout the year I will have some things come up that I need to put on there, and I like that I can build a page right onto this calendar. Like today I have a work trip, and I built a page there where I've just done a little bit of content planning. I put some Pinterest inspo in there. That way when I'm on site shooting, I have just a little resource to pull from to keep me focused and make sure I get the content that I want to get. It was getting a little late last night, so I didn't get too ham on like actually filling this out too much, and I wanted to be able to show you guys like the basic setup before I like brain dump all over it. But I feel like this turned out really good, and it's going to be a much more useful tool than it was before. And I had been kind of avoiding rebuilding it just because it is a little bit of a time suck, but it didn't end up taking me that long. It looks super cute, and I think it's going to do wonders for my productivity. Good morning. I feel like my dishwasher is always running in the background lately, so sorry about that, but I am just finishing up my little morning routine and getting ready for work. I used to do a lot more like stretching and journaling than I do now. I kind of have abandoned the habit, and it felt nice. And I'm not gonna lie, as old lady as it makes me sound, that cushy, like really thick yoga mat is life-changing. I'm about halfway through my workday today, but I decided to run to the thrift store on my lunch break. This is like one of my favorite times of the year to go thrifting because everyone's kind of in declutter mode, so there's usually a lot of good stuff. It was a very successful trip, and I only went to 2 places. I just found really great deals and really great stuff, so thought I could show you guys. Grabbed this pillow and this pillow. This one was $4, this one was $2. I have a lot of Christmas pillows, so I felt like after I took all the Christmas pillows down, it was just not cozy anymore, you know? Found this really nice basket. I thought this would be really pretty, like tucked on a shelf, something like that, and it's in really good shape. I was really excited about this. We can't have like a lot of live plants lower down. Our dogs will get into them. And frankly, the natural light situation in this house is, you know, not the most ideal for having a ton of plants. So I got this one to put in one of the darker corners of the house because I've just been wanting more greenery, but we don't have any more good spots to put like live plants. So I also found some really pretty florals. I always am looking for these at the thrift store, because they're so expensive at the hobby store anymore. I thought this would be really pretty on like a bathroom shelf or something. And then I have lots of really pretty vases but no florals, so I thought these kind of like muted pinks were nice. And then I found this bundle of cotton. This always reminds me of home. My mom used a lot of this in the decor at her house. And I just found some little vases. I thought this would actually be really pretty with those roses, so I'm gonna try that out. Somehow all of our dipping sauce bowls have gone missing, and I found this one for 50 cents. I thought this was really cool. This was like $6 or $7, and I thought this would just be a good way to add some height. I often collect a lot of like little trinkets, and when I'm decorating I really like to incorporate levels into my decor, so I thought this would be a cool way to add some height. This shelf was $4.99. This is so beautiful. It's just like so vintage. It kind of reminds me of like one of those really ornate headboards. Okay, I don't know if you can see this one super well. Another really cool unique find, but this is just like a shelf but has a little lasso and some cactuses. I just thought this was really cute and kind of tied in with the western. And then I always am also keeping my eye out for wall art. I really love gallery walls and I love to switch things up. And I found this insanely cool horse picture for $7. This looks like hand drawn, honestly, and the mat and the frame themselves are really beautiful. So if I end up wanting to switch out the print, I can always do that. But that was a really fun little outing, a great excuse to get out of the house. Working from home, I try and do that a couple times a week on my lunch. And in total, for all of that, I spent like $60, which is the cost of maybe a couple candles, a vase or two, or something like that at Target. This just felt like a really practical way to refresh my space and reset for the new year without spending a ton of money. Home decor just gets insanely expensive, and I just cherish all my little unique thrifted treasures so much. Because I didn't really take any time off from work through the holidays, doing like a massive reset just didn't feel like it was gonna fit with how I was feeling right now. And I really try not to put too much pressure on myself with New Year's type of stuff. All this to say, just don't compare yourself to everyone else this time of year. There is a lot of reset and productivity content coming out this time of year, and honestly, a reset is supposed to set you up for success. So whatever that looks like, at whatever pace that looks like, is really what's most ideal. So as much as I would have loved to have had a chunk of time to do like a massive 2-day life overhaul, that just was not in the cards for me this winter. But I really actually like to save my PTO for a little bit later in the winter, usually around March or April. I'm like so over the snow, so we always try and take a trip then. So I'm really looking forward to that. And it's nice to have something to look forward to after the holidays, right? Because I feel like I've got like the post-Christmas blues a little bit. All my cozy decor is gone, all the holiday magic is gone. So having that trip in a couple months just gives me that extra thing to look forward to get through the winter. Obviously, I'm looking forward to summer, and I'm not like wishing away any seasons, but it just helps me find a little bit more joy and excitement in the winter months. I'm really excited to start incorporating all the new things I found into the decor over the next little bit, but a lot of it involves hanging stuff, and I usually let Josh do that to avoid any unnecessary holes in the wall. So I think I'm going to leave you guys here for the week. Thanks so much for hanging out and resetting with me. I'm actually feeling really good and inspired and ready to move into this next chapter. So I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.